Hello everyone, this is Ashley Tucker. Thank you for joining me today. For today's card, I'm going to be using the stamp set that came in Simon Says Stamp's November card kit. You'll have to forgive me if I sound a little bit different for this video. I am catching another cold. My daughter has been really sick all weekend with a terrible cold, and I think that she gave it to me. So the card for today is pretty simple. I started out by taking two of the sentiments from the stamp set, and they're actually in the stamp set right next to each other, and I just took them out and placed them exactly like they're placed in the stamp set. And I stamped those with my Gina K amalgam ink. I'm stamping on some Neenah Solar White cardstock, and I'm using my Misty tool for all of the stamping. I'm stamping a bunch of the different leaves from the stamp set onto my paper with some Distress Oxide inks, and I'm going to kind of have them arranged, flowing from one corner of the cardstock to the other. This is actually probably the closest I've ever come to making a one-layer card on my channel. This honestly could have been a one-layer card, but I just couldn't leave it alone and I had to add some dimension. So the colors of Distress Oxide ink that I'm using to stamp the leaves are Aged Mahogany, Walnut Stain, Stormy Sky, Fossilized Amber, and Bundled Sage. The way that I picked out the colors was I went on Pinterest and I looked up fall color palettes, and I found one that I liked, and then I tried to match some Distress Oxide inks to that. If you're ever struggling picking out colors for your card, Pinterest is a great resource. So while I'm finishing up the stamping on the rest of this panel, I just want to mention to everyone, I'm going to be taking Wednesday off this week, and that's just because I'm sick and my family's sick, and also I have some other work obligations that I really need to focus on, so I'll be back with a new video on Friday. Once I finished up all of the stamping, I used my tonic trimmer to cut a little bit off of one of the edges so that it's slightly narrower than an A2 size card. And that's just because I'm using this Neenah Desert Storm cardstock base, and I wanted a little bit of that cardstock to show on the side. So I popped that panel up onto the card base with some foam tape, and then I took out this silver paint marker and I added some little dots in between all of the leaves. If you ever use this kind of marker, you have to be really careful with them. The way that you get the ink flowing with these markers is by pressing in the tip, and sometimes if you press that tip in for too long, the ink will start flowing far too much. I have had one occasion where that happened and the ink dribbled all over my card, so you got to be really careful. Normally, if you're keeping an eye on it, it's not a problem. The last thing that I did to finish up this card is I took a piece of twine and I wrapped it a few times around the inner edge of the card, and then I tied it in a bow. I find that the easiest way for me to tie a nice bow is to start out by tying a knot and then make my loops, and then just kind of keep pulling on the loops and on the ends until I have it the way I want it. I like my bow loops to be a little bit on the smaller side. Once I snipped off the excess twine, this card was all done. And here's a closer look at the finished card, and you can kind of see how that metallic silver marker really shines. Thank you for watching today. I hope you really enjoyed this simple card design using the stamp set from the November Simon Says Stamp card kit. All of the supplies that I used for today can be found in the description down below. If you enjoyed watching and you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would encourage you to check out some of my other videos and hit that subscribe button so that you can see all of my future videos. I'm going to be back with a new video on Friday. Again, thank you for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I hope you have a great day today.